Hi there and welcome to Xbox On. Today we're going through the best games to play on your Xbox One this Pride season as we celebrate the LGBTQIA+ community and the involvement they've had in the video game industry over the years.
We're supporting Stonewall, a charity formed 30 years ago with the goal to break down barriers to equality so everyone can be free to be themselves. For many of us, gaming is a way to feel included, where you can feel comfortable without the usual limitations of everyday life.
Head of Xbox Phil Spencer posed the question, am I building a world where all of us can thrive and achieve more, while recognising that gaming should absolutely be for everyone?
The games we discuss in this video all have elements of diversity that help highlight how diversity is not only all around us, but also that it's been a part of games we know and love for a very long time.
We hope that every single person has the opportunity to see themselves reflected positively in the games they play.
For many people, having role models in gaming can help build resilience and provide support from afar when things get tough.
We haven't met, have we? I don't suppose you happen to be another mage?
One fantastic example of representation within games that spans over 10 years comes from developers BioWare.
With a long history of covertly and eventually openly introducing canonically diverse characters, some developers within BioWare have pushed for inclusivity for a very long time.
One obvious example of this is the hugely popular Mass Effect series, which we cannot forget and will chat about later, but we also have to mention the Dragon Age series.
Dragon Age Origins included dwarf Branka and her devoted lesbian paramour Hespeth, documenting their research and quest into the risky deep roads where they were not heard from again, but that's your story to explore.
Dragon Age allows your character to recruit up to 3 companions to hang out with and provide a bit of flavour to your questing.
4 of the potential pool of companions can be romanced by helping them with their personal quests and maybe throw in a few cheeky winks that way.
The game is designed to reflect all sexual orientations so that gay, lesbian and bi gamers can be themselves and form whatever relationships they want in the game.
Dragon Age Inquisition featured one of the first positive representations of a transgender man in a video game in the form of Krem, with his story featuring themes that many in the community may identify with.
If you want to get a taste of this for yourself and play the highly rated action-adventure RPG series, you can, because Dragon Age Origins and 2 are both backwards compatible on Xbox.
Night in the Woods is not only a must-play for anyone in love with idea Xbox titles, but it's also one of those games that has way more hidden beneath than the narrative in first sight.
Whilst its visual style shows a quirky collection of human-like animals in a town living in the shadow of its glory days, it's merely a cover-up to buff out some of the sharper edges of the realities its characters have to explore throughout the game.
Focusing on millennials raised in a town with little to no prospects, you play as May on her journey of self-discovery, mental dissociation, and discovering that she is bi.
Alongside May, other characters seemingly have their sexual orientation integrated into the narrative instead of being a focal point of the game.
Over the course of many dialogue options, you're able to determine that Greg and Angus were in a relationship, Bombshell is a lesbian, CJ is bi, and Jackie is trans. Essentially, the fact that anything related to LGBTQIA characters is purely surface level and serves a purpose to have LGBTQI people represented as normal components of modern life is overwhelmingly positive.
This is how inclusion works, and I personally feel the devs over at Infinite Fall absolutely smashed it out of the park.
Whatever happens, Rachel, I'm here.
Life is Strange Before the Storm does a great job of exploring the complicated yet incidental decisions that can lead to romances developed through friendship.
Life is Strange is known for putting you behind the steering wheel, making all the decisions that culminate in huge plot point set pieces, and it does a great job of not discriminating against any possible romances.
The close friendship between protagonists Chloe Price and Rachel Amber leave a lot of will they, won't they curiosity that just feels as natural as any heterosexual relationship in gaming, but can also be rooted into a close, non-romantic friendship by the player too, if that's what they prefer.
Chloe teases the idea of having a crush on Rachel, and later, if you follow that narrative path, Chloe can explore the possibility of a relationship in that shy, inexperienced teenage way that will feel pretty familiar to a lot of us.
Before the Storm also features character Steph Gingrich, an openly gay woman whose sexuality, whilst commented on by Chloe, is just part of the LGBT representation.
It's a thoughtful and atmospheric episodic choice game, and if it piques your curiosity, you can find the complete season right now on Xbox Game Pass for console.
Shepard, you checking up on me? I love it.
As we mentioned, BioWare have a bit of an inclusivity history, reaching into their Mass Effect series with more romance options in Mass Effect 1 and diving more in depth in Mass Effect 3 with all-out, unapologetic and exclusive options for same-sex characters.
This includes characters like Steve Cortez, an openly gay man who loses his love and must cope with his loss, potentially through the help of yourself as male Shepard, leading to an eventual romance.
In Mass Effect 3, you can choose to make Commander Shepard either male or female, with the option to romance willing participants of the same or opposite gender.
Each romance develops in a natural way, just being attracted to people, something you can explore regardless of your personal real-life orientation.
Much like in real life, Mass Effect features many characters with diverse sexualities that are of no consequence to the story we're exposed to, making it a great representation of actual reality. And there's a whole lot of fluidity out there, especially in space.
Mass Effect 1 is widely regarded as one of the best games in the previous generation of gaming, and it's available on Xbox Game Pass for console if you missed it.
Right now, I'm sure you're asking yourself, why hasn't some lucky man scooped this bachelor off his feet? Like I said, I'm boring.
Fallout New Vegas is another RPG that features LGBT representation, but you might not notice depending on the dialogue options that you relate to or the perks your career ends up with.
Depending on the quest lines you embark on, you'll meet a lot of people in the Wastelands, with the option to flirt being one that can change the way you play.
The perk Confirmed Bachelor, for example, gives you access to more dialogue options with certain male characters, and among other hilariously weird things, it gives you the opportunity to chat to Arcade Gannon and have him become your companion.
Arcade, voiced by Zachary Levi, is gay, but conceals his past for fear of persecution by the NCR and doesn't trust his lovers as confidants. He just wants someone he can trust.
Fallout New Vegas is a huge, weird and very fun Wasteland RPG game and is backwards compatible, meaning you could play it on your Xbox One.
Borderlands is a game famed for its extraordinary level of detail and choice when it comes to a variety of playable aspects. Guns, shields, player modifications, guns, skill trees, badass tokens, guns, chests, class mods, and even guns.
Couple that with a ludicrously deep narrative thread run over arguably 4 to 5 games, and suddenly you're left with a game with a staggering amount of detail you might never see. But that's not all.
The amazing folks over at Gearbox and 2K also added a rich vein of sexual history to a fair handful of their characters, both NPC and playable.
But if you haven't listened to every single Echo device or stuck around to hear the last few words of every encounter you may have out there in the Wastelands, here's what you might have missed.
Axton is bi.
Torg is bi.
Tiny Tina is a lesbian.
Maya is asexual because of a religion.
Janie Springs and Athena are gay.
Moxie is bi, possibly even pansexual.
Claptrap is, well, Claptrap.
Sir Hammerlock is gay, and Patricia Tannis is strangely attracted to Maya. The
sheer level of representation, while keeping it as discoverable lore behind the already behemoth storyline, is honestly astounding.
And any fans eager enough to dig more into it, like we did, have an entire Love Island-esque adventure ahead of them. Plus, with both Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, both backwards compatible, and the handsome collection recently added to your Xbox Game Pass for console subscription, there's no better time to head back to Pandora.
Hey Pierce.
What's on your mind?
We've had some good times together, haven't we?
The Saints Row series, much like The Sims, which we'll come on to shortly, puts the option to feature LGBTQIA plus characters entirely within the player's hands, by allowing players to select hairstyles, body types, and voices that aren't restricted to gender binaries.
So if you wanted to be the most femme character in the entire history of Saints Row franchise, but have Nolan North's voice, you should 100% be playing Saints Row 3, which, by the way, is backwards compatible on Xbox One, alongside Saints 1, 2, and 4.
On top of this, in Saints Row 4, players can romance all of the companions when you return them back to your ship.
As is the nature of the game, these relationships tend to be extremely goofy and over the top in how they're conducted, but the fact that Volition gave players the creativity to explore their bi or even pansexuality whilst enjoying the game is certainly a bonus.
Plus, in their most recent addition to the series, Agents of Mayhem, developers have confirmed that some of their playable characters are indeed queer. Hollywood is pansexual, and Braddock is in the worst-kept lesbian secret relationship with Friday.
This unique space for queer gamers to virtually design an avatar that can closely sync up with their own cultural representation, be that relating to their sexuality, skin tone, or gender, was a bold move on Volition's part, and one that game director Anoop Shekhar didn't want to be seen as just a checking a mark off the to-do list.
Number one.
Since the dawn of time, characters in The Sims have been able to fall in love and partake in romantic interactions with other Sims of any gender.
So we're not bringing this news to you today as a shocker, because in The Sims 4 they really took representation a whole generation forward in ways that personally we feel any character customized video game should consider including.
In The Sims 4, on top of all the other equalities it's already championing, such as same-sex marriage, same-sex parenting, and diverse families, players are presented at the first possible customization screen to move away from gender binaries.
But not just the binary choices between male and female, but additionally a custom list of inclusive options of gender identities. Essentially, this means that you can now create male-identifying characters that can become pregnant, with the pronouns suitably tweaked in-game, or female-identifying characters that can stand up to use the toilet. Plus, all clothing is gender neutral in the game, so the characters you create can wear whatever they feel comfortable in.
Leah, I'm going to repeat that one more time for you, okay? Gender-specific clothing has been totally removed from the game, and this now allows players to make the most authentic versions of themselves should they choose to, with further options surrounding the tone of their voice and walking styles, further pushing the envelope of identity.
If you're keen on diving back into this cultural gem and expressing yourself in ways never done before, then great news, because The Sims 4 is now playable on Xbox One using a mouse and keyboard, which we've been taking full advantage of over on Mixer.
Go on, fix the
Go
bin.
on. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh.
These are my
Take his clothes off to go to the bin. I love this game so much. While these are some of the bigger, more well-known games out there that include LGBTQIA plus representation, it's important to note that there are a whole host of awesome developers out there who occupy the space and make incredible, visceral, and emotional games.
In celebration of diversity in gaming and culture, we want to direct you to Stonewall, an organisation that campaigns for acceptance without exception. It's their 30th birthday this year, and any support would be hugely appreciated. Check out the link in the description below.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button and tell us what games you've been playing over Pride season this year.
Remember to head over to our Mixer channel too, where we'll be playing all sorts of games every weekday. We'll see you next time. Bye!